Hi, this is the Riot Podcast, and we have a lot of things we want to talk about.
It's the Friday edition. So that includes AC.jR and BradyJames, a new band on RadioU. So I have a chance to introduce you to them, which if you listen to the podcast, you can also take time and go to RadioU.com, go to the Riot section, or through RadioU Riot on Facebook, and actually watch the interview, too, if you want to see what they look like. And he's yawning.
Sorry, look, it's been a long week. I came into work so early today, like an hour earlier than normal. So early. I don't know why.
Well, you're just tired. You weren't sleeping well.
Couldn't sleep, so I got up, made some coffee, and you know what? I just spent some special time here.
Now you're probably about due for more coffee. The real, normal time you get it.
Yeah, I'm ready for some more. Look, we seriously hope you guys enjoyed the podcast and the interview. Also in the podcast today, we talk about the phone.
Oh, we got a new phone from yesterday's thing.
The resolution for my phone, and then plus we talk about the new iPhone.
Yes, we
do.
The
XS. It's so clever. There's that. We also get into alligators.
Yep, and a tale. A tale about an alligator.
A tale of alligators. Where were we on that? Where were we on that?
Oh, I hate that. We missed it.
Oh, daggone it. I want to tell you a tale about an alligator.
That is perfect.
Man,
well, at least we had a chance to get it out here for you guys.
You know what? We did. So, hey, everybody, we're going to have to go back in time, redo the show, take that joke backwards.
Well, until then, you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday weekend. We will not have a podcast for you on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday. Take some time, though, at RadioU Riot on Facebook or RadioU Riot on YouTube. Subscribe and say hello while you're there.
It is the Riot.
You could be learning jiu-jitsu right now, or how to drive a race car, or do anything productive with your life, but no. You're listening to the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
Boy, if you missed it yesterday, you should just stop by our Facebook page and see everyone having fun at my expense.
I would even suggest go to RadioU Official on Instagram. I feel like they had just as much fun there.
A lot of people saying a lot of things that were, not helpful. Not helpful, really. But, it's fine.
So someone in the room dropped a 50-pound weight while at the gym on his phone.
Now, I will say, many people were like, get your arms stronger, you won't drop. I didn't, put the phone on the ground, hold the weight, and then drop the weight on it.
Because it was too heavy.
I had my phone in a bag that I carry in the gym with me, and I had set the bag down and then a weight on a platform, and I wasn't paying attention. It fell off onto the bag, and that's when
the phone got shattered.
It died.
I'll also point this out, too. I thought it looked obvious, but it wasn't just the screen that got shattered, because people are like, well, just fix the screen.
No.
It was crunched, so the body was gone, too.
Destroyed, guys. If you had been here to hold it, you'd be like, oh.
You can't, because it was just falling apart in your hands.
Okay. All right. I see. This phone is done.
But you got a new one.
I did. Yesterday, I was able to just take the SIM card. Thank you to Jeremy for suggesting it. I didn't even think about it. Took the SIM card out of my old phone and just bought a new one. And I went to Costco and I bought the Moto G6. And it is an unlocked phone. So I could actually get a SIM card from any carrier and put it in this phone. So if, for whatever reason, I'm like, I don't want this plan anymore, I could just take that out and put a new SIM card in it.
That's refreshing, isn't it? It's nice.
It's almost weird.
I know.
It's like, well, how much do you still own that phone? No, I own it. It's mine.
You're just taking the SIM card.
No, I mean, and I will tell you this. This is the point at which I feel like they've really scammed all of us. I paid $240 for this phone, and I've walked around like, I got a real deal. Look what a deal I got on this phone. And it's like once the carrier started the whole phones are $800. So now all of a sudden a $200 phone seems cheap. Now, back in the day, you would have gone to the carrier and they would have been like, well, for $200.
That would have been the price of the phone from them.
You can get this super high-end phone. And, they basically helped pay for or rolled it into the cost. I don't know. And I would have been like, I don't know if I want to spend that $200. That's a lot. And now I'm like, what a savings.
It's different.
So, but I picked it up at Costco, but I looked like this phone's for sale at Best Buy and pretty much any retailer. It just came out in June, so it's basically Motorola's new low end. I mean, like, they have cheaper phones than this, but I don't know that I would call it a mid-range phone. When you pick it up, it does feel a little cheap. The back is plastic.
It's not cheap. It just feels
weird.
Oddly light.
Yeah, it's very light.
It's just a different feeling than most phones have.
Yeah, the camera is okay. Like, it's not amazing, but
Better
it's
than
also
turbo?
It is. I'll tell you what. Here's the answer to it. Carry your existing phone for a very long time. And then when it's time to buy a new one, you'll buy a cheap one and be like, this is so much better than my old phone. And that's exactly where I'm at. Like, this is way better than the phone that I had. I'm told that the glass is not as strong and the battery won't last as long on the turbo.
You can change that out.
I could. So, I mean, like, I'm not super worried about it. And, I mean, I'm worried enough that I brought it in here, but until I put a case on it, like, I left the, what do you call it, like the plastic sticker on the top of it and stuff, because it's like, we'll just wait till we get something to protect it. But you know what? Again, $240 is still a lot of money, but in the world of phones, it's not a lot of money. And
good choice.
I'm pretty happy with it. Like,
It looks nice.
I was getting it set up last night. It works great. Like, no trouble. Hopefully, check back with me in a week. But it seems okay.
Isn't it nice to have a new phone?
You know what? I've been so irritated about breaking my phone that I didn't feel like it was nice. And last night, as I was finally really setting it up, I was like, I think I like this phone.
Aww, makes it okay.
I'm kind of excited about it, even though I really wish I hadn't spent the money and I wanted to go 5 years and I couldn't make it.
But it could have been worse.
Oh, it could have been a lot worse, guys.
There are pros and cons to everything in life, except for the Riot. Here, it's no pros and all. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Okay. You know how with sports, there's the actual games. Like, hey, we're sitting down, we're watching the games. You know, college football came back last night. It's, games tomorrow, games. There's that part of sports, but then there's the big culture that surrounds sports. There's ESPN and sports radio and like all these different things and podcasts and YouTube channels and all of that takes place around it. So you might be into that. I'm not. Like, I like sports, but I'm not interested in the culture that surrounds it. So it's like, I want to watch the football game and then I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
That's where it ends. But when it comes to video games, they're the same way. They've got their own podcast. They've got their own news thing. It's not as big. But
it's there.
But it's there. And unlike with sports, like, I love video games, but I love reading all the crap that surrounds it. So when certain things pop up in the news, it catches my eye. So you guys know that Fortnite is super popular, right? Over 100 million people are playing Fortnite. It's a big deal. And one of the things that makes it such a big deal is that it's free.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can pump money into it, but on your phone, on your Xbox, on your PlayStation, on your PC, like whatever the heck you're playing it on, you can pick up Fortnite for free. Now, Fortnite is this massively disruptive presence in video games because what has happened for the last, let's say 10 years since Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out is that when the fall would roll around, you would plop down at least $60 for whatever the new shooter was, and then you would play with your friends for like a year or whatever. And then the next one would come out, and you would pay your yearly fee to them, and then you would whatever. So this fall, you've got a new Call of Duty, and you've got Battlefield 5, both coming out. They were both supposed to come out in October. Mm-hmm. But the big question is, why would everybody stop playing the free game that they love?
That they've been investing a lot of time in.
And in some cases, money. Why would they leave those for $60 games this fall? And in reality, it doesn't look good. So we don't know what the pre-orders and all that stuff for Call of Duty are, but we do know that there was an EA, and that's the company that makes Battlefield 5. They had an earnings call this week in which they were just like, hey, guys, we're
Is it down?
Doing so poorly on pre-orders for Battlefield 5 that they've had to go and with their investors, they've had to change all their forecasts,
sure.
like lower all the money that they thought they would make.
Battlefield has been it's an older name and it's not as flashy.
I agree.
So I think that was an even harder push on people.
Battlefield's never done as well as Call of Duty, but it still does okay. But apparently not that okay. So they announced yesterday, hey guys, We're going to take Battlefield 5 out of October and move it to November 20th.
Ooh.
And so the idea is, if you look at the video game release schedule this year, October is jam-packed and November and December are almost empty. And so they had, let's see, in October, you've got the new Assassin's Creed, the new Call of Duty, and Red Dead Redemption 2. And now Battlefield 5 was in the middle of that, and they've moved it. I just feel like, and I could be wrong, but to me, it just seems like I'll bet both those. I'll bet Call of Duty and Battlefield tank.
I don't know if it's tanking, but it's just the new. It's the new order.
It's going to drop off.
It's how games are going to be. That changed things.
I mean, I'm not rooting for anyone to fail, but I just want to see, does anyone go out and pay $60 when you're hooked on the free game that you've been playing with your friends this entire time?
A long time. It's a good question.
It would have to be really, really, really good. And could it possibly be that good?
My favorite part of the worst of the riot, when they shut up and the music starts.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Just as a side note, I'm really glad that not only does Nikki wear headphones, but she turns them up really loud.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me absolutely just screaming while I stretch. And I don't even mean like, I'm like, ah!
Sometimes I wonder, we all have the windows open. And there's like, we're in an office complex, but then there's a housing development not too far away to where when we're like, if you're really loud, I think they could probably hear. It's like, what's that screaming every morning? I don't understand. But it's only weekdays.
I think there's a hospital near here.
Yeah, but it's just him screaming as he stretches. But yeah, I can't hear you when you do that.
Maybe somebody's having a baby. Maybe that's what all the screaming is, a little baby. Because you come into this world with screaming and crying, already causing your mother problems. Maybe your mom could finally get something out of you, right? Well, here's the deal. Nikki, are you familiar with Kentucky Fried Chicken?
KFC?
KFC.
I don't have it often, but when I do, I had the pickle chicken.
What was their last run of? I didn't do pickle chicken, but I did the one before that.
You know,
that
I
was
never
like,
had that one, but then there was like the
Carolina Gold, Georgia Gold. Okay, I did that.
Nashville
that was very
Hot.
good.
There was one other one.
The Nashville Hot I thought was eh.
There was one other one that I thought people said it was like KC.
I think I had that.
There was that version and then the pickle one.
Because every time they unveil their new sauce, I go eat it one time. And they
would you have gone if they didn't unveil a sauce?
No, I wouldn't have. That's why I'm saying, like, it's good business for them, I guess.
They have to be doing that.
So here's what's happening. KFC is doing a thing. I don't know if you know this, but Colonel Harlan Sanders, that's the colonel of Kentucky Fried Chicken fame, he's born on October 9th. And if you can get your baby out on the 9th, if its birthday is October 9th
of this year, and
you name your baby Harland, you could win $11,000.
Why $11,000?
I don't actually know the
Not
answer
a weird
to that.
amount.
I don't know why they've picked $11,000, but
so you have to have the baby on that day, name the baby Harlan, and then if there's going to be more than one person doing this, do they just pick?
Well, you know, Nikki, it's funny. Here at Radio U, when we run a contest, we have to
disclose all of it.
We have to make the rules official, and I am now looking at their official rules here. Okay, here's the what? How do you pronounce the word herb? This thing is.
Is this not it?
It's technically real, but the more I look at it, I'm just like, wait, what? Let's see. Do they do your baby has to be born? Here we go.
It's $11,000 for the 11 herbs and spices. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. And is it September 9th or October?
Okay. One grand prize winner will be determined on or about October 10th. Yeah, okay. Now this, okay, all right, look. The article that I looked at said October 9th, but this says September 9th. But they're not doing the drawing until October 10th.
Well, maybe it takes some time.
All right, let me read you. This is fascinating. It's I write our contest rules. Here we go. You ready? Yeah. Winner determination. One grand prize winner will be determined on or about October 10th, 2018. The eligible entrant whose child is born first during the eligibility window from among all those who submit an entry during the promotion period will be deemed the grand prize winner. So you get one winner, and you've got to be the first one to have a baby, and it needs to be like 12:01 a.m.
And legally name it.
Harland.
I
think it's got to be the first name, too. So, I mean, and so what you do is you're just like Harland Obadiah Harland Obadiah Smith, okay?
And then that way
you just call him Unlucky.
Because he got both those names.
Because he's got two really bad first names.
Perfect, but you're honoring two great men.
Well, I mean, two men that feel passionate about fried chicken.
Yeah, that's true.
For sure.
All right, well, that's a contest.
All right. So listen, everybody, if you're not pregnant, it's too late.
It's too late.
But if you are pregnant and you're like, oh my gosh, the baby's too soon, either hang on or get ready or something, because you could get, man, think about this, $11,000. That should be good for like probably 2 or 3 bags of diapers at least.
I wish they would have said $11,000 in like Lifetime chicken for the baby. And you're taking the baby in every time.
Screw the baby. I want the Lifetime chicken. That's my chicken.
No, but you can eat it because the baby can't eat chicken.
You bring the baby in, and they're like, oh, yeah, the baby only gets a kid's meal, okay, until they're 12. You can't have a combo.
Why do we bother entering contests then?
The Riot has a problem with authority.
It's a little rule. Maybe you're not familiar with it. Nobody tells me what to do, ever.
Nikki, did you get your invitation yesterday
invitation to what?
To the big unveiling?
Yay, the iPhone unveiling. Take my money. Here it is.
September 12th. A magical day for iPhone owners everywhere.
I've got my ball gown ready, made from my recycled phones.
Apple comes knocking for the money that you owe them just for existing.
I hope Prince Charming's there, but I must leave by midnight or my phone turns back into a pumpkin.
But
That's the
sir,
fall special that they're offering.
I have the other glass phone case.
Oh, you did? It's just the announcement, so that's the date that they've given.
So September 12th, but the other big news is that Apple sent out those invites, but supposedly there was a big leak yesterday basically showing the new phones.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I love this so much. I don't know if it's what it's going to be called. So you guys know I like to refer to the iPhone 10 as the iPhone X. So
it's not, he just does.
It never occurred to me that the iPhone 10s would actually be the iPhone XS.
That's how that is.
So if they come out and say the iPhone XS, I'd be like, yes.
It is.
You're right. $1,500 for a phone is excessive. Thank you for finally recognizing that.
For calling it what it is.
I feel like we've all grown today. By being willing to admit that. Thank you. So they say we're going to have 3 new iPhones, the XS, which I'm so calling it that. I finally turned a corner and started calling it the iPhone 10, but you put an S on that, and it's an XS.
So it'll be a 5.8 inch and a 6.5 inch, OLED iPhone, and that they're saying would be the iPhone XS.
And then the lower cost version would be the iPhone, whatever they're going to call it, and it would have a 6.1 inch LCD screen.
So not OLED, but an LCD.
Right. And I mean, I will say OLED, so purty. Mm-hmm. So purty.
It'll look good. And they're also saying the XS will come in a new gold color,
okay,
which was not normally offered for that design.
So you have an iPhone 7S? 7 Plus S, iPhone 7 Plus?
Yes, I think that's where I've last left it.
Okay, so how big is your phone?
Mine is, that's... We're not ready for that.
I'm just curious because, you have been wanting a phone that was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, which is why I didn't go with the other ones. What is the size?
Okay, let's see. What if we iPhone 7 Plus
the Plus
screen size?
This is where I'm giving you guys time to text me.
5.5 inch is what it says.
So that would be bigger then.
And I believe this is your exact phone, a rose gold iPhone 7 Plus.
No, I have a gold one.
Oh, you do?
I think I do. Yeah, I got gold.
Well, it's only the Plus. Let me see. Can I see it, please? Like, that just doesn't seem possible that that's all the bigger that is.
That's all that is. As he puts his new phone to it.
Yeah, because this is a 5.9-inch screen, I think. Yeah, but I mean, mine's screen is longer, so that's another thing they'll do. They'll make a long screen or an extra wide or something. No, I guess so. That looks about right.
So I think I'll go with the 6.5-inch. Now, I don't know if I'll do OLED or
Your mom texted you. Do you want me to text her back? Or?
I'll get that later,
Okay,
thank you.
right.
Or the LCD screen, I'm not sure.
Well, I know what you want.
Yeah, but we can't always get what we want. We can't afford it.
Who can afford the excess?
When the last ones came out, like I've been all up for Apple my entire Apple life.
Right.
But that was a harsh one on everybody. That was bad.
That was a lot.
It's a lot of money, and I don't know. It might be too much.
Okay, so you have that iPhone 7, so you've had it for coming up on 2 years.
Yes.
Right?
2 or 3 years at this point.
I think it's been 2, but let's say 2, maybe it's 3. You replaced the battery in it.
I did.
Now, aside from replacing the battery, do you feel as happy with your phone as you did? Like, do you feel like it's gotten slower or clunkier or anything like that?
That fixed my only concern with it.
So it still runs
Camera's
really well.
still great. It still runs really well.
Yeah.
Everything
Okay.
else is just fine.
Awful, terrible, horrible, pathetic. Someone grab me a thesaurus. I'm gonna need more words to describe how bad these guys are. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Now what happened to your phone?
I don't think I want to talk about it anymore.
Oh, right. Did we take up the time with someone else?
So here's the deal. Yeah, I broke my phone and I went shopping for a new phone. Here's one thing I discovered. You guys are, and I mean you, people, humanity, so opinionated about phones. I mean, people were intense. Now, of course, a lot of people stopped by our Facebook page and on Instagram, RadioU_official, and were just harshing on me for breaking my phone and offering what I would consider to be very unhelpful tips.
Like links to old flip phones, like brick phones from back in the day.
Yeah.
That you just need a case from now on. Like you dropped a weight on it.
I did.
Yeah, it's not like something else.
So here's what I thought was interesting. I was basically looking for a mid to low end smartphone that would do just some of the real basic things that I needed. And I get it. Like, I totally understand. The perception that you have of me as Obadiah on Radio U is that I will only take the best, the fastest, the most cutting edge. It has to be the most expensive. And when it comes to my phone, that is not who I am. It just doesn't matter to me as much as it used to. And so I was totally willing to take a low-end phone. And I'm telling you, there were so many of you that I was like, well, I think I'd be happy with this. And it was just like...
How could you?
No, that's a poor person's phone. You need to get a credit card and buy the best. I mean, what? It's like a car, 5 years, same as cash financing. Like, you need to buy the good one.
And if you're like, that's not how bad it was worse.
I had people that are like, this one's only $800. I'm just like,
you just don't want to spend that much.
No, I don't. And seriously, I can't tell you how many times yesterday I had this discussion where I was like, no, this is fine. It will text. I can go live on Facebook with it. Like, just the different things I want to be able to do. This phone meets all my requirements. It's faster than a phone I had. It's not the best, but it's good. And it was just like, no, it's not good enough.
Which one did you end up getting?
I got the Moto G6, which is like, it's not exactly the bottom of the ladder in Motorola's family of Android phones, but it is certainly not the top. But it's great. I actually like it a lot better than the phone I had. It's fast, really snappy. Does what I want it to do. It's got the latest version of Android on it.
And you didn't break the bank.
$240, which is a little more than I wanted to spend. But once I did the math, and it's not a contract phone. I bought it unlocked. You always pay sometimes a little more for an unlocked phone, but I can take it to any carrier that I want, and I'm happy with it, which is not something anyone wants to hear.
They didn't want you to be happy.
How can you be happy with such a cheap phone? I just am. I don't know.
I think you picked a good one.
I feel good about it, even if nobody else does.
There are two types of people in this world, and neither one of them likes the riot. You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
What the heck? We're just taking all these text messages. Aaron in Youngstown just texted and said, hey, off topic. This is Aaron from Youngstown. Obie and Nikki, you need to look up Untitled Goose Game for the Switch.
Ooh, yeah?
It's also called the jerk goose game, which I've seen people talking about that. He says because you run around honking at people, scaring them, and stealing their stuff. Looks more out of control than Bee Simulator.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was the game we mentioned a few weeks ago where it's an upcoming game that's legit and you get to act
Fly
like
around
a bee.
and be a bee.
Yeah, you're a bee.
I'm still interested in that, by the way.
I'll let you review that one.
Even if you're not, but here we go.
So this is the goose game.
Yeah, I don't think it's out yet, is it? Okay, here's a guy watering some plants.
It's a lovely morning in the village. We're watching the trailer.
It sure is.
Mm-hmm.
And
where's the goose at?
There's the lady sweeping the floor.
We're doing chores, and you are a horrible goose.
Oh, and here's a guy reading the paper. I think I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, my gosh. All right, the goose is sneaking.
He just sneaks around honking at people.
Shut up.
How's this kid made into a game? I don't know. I think I might actually like this. I'm into chores, you do the chores list, you gather all the stuff, and that's what the game is.
Okay. See, I thought it was already out, but it doesn't come out until next year. Untitled Goose
Not
Game.
till next year?
Says coming early 2019.
Aw, man, that's a long time.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer to get the teaser dropped on you and you're ready for it now.
Well, good call on that, Aaron. Now, if someone could just remind us in early 2019 that the Goose Game's out.
Hey, and if somebody could do something for Nikki and I as well, if you could remind us when the Bee Simulator comes out.
Just set alerts for both of those.
Actually, you know what? I wonder, maybe I could put it on. If it's listed on Steam, I could say that I'm interested in it. And then if I do that, it will tell me when it becomes available. Well, that should take at least 30 seconds. So,
job done.
All right. It seems like I've done my work for today.
Well, the Untitled Goose Game looks quite cute.
It does. That looks like something that you would like.
Yeah, it does. But you know what it is? It's the Switch tax. Like, I'm not paying that much money for.
Yes, you are.
For the honking goose game.
You will pay
on
all
Switch.
the money.
And Switch charges so much for their games.
They really do, man.
So I don't know about that.
Way too much.
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
So here's a story about an alligator that was given a 3D printed prosthetic tail.
Aw, to help him?
Yes.
Did he lose his tail then?
I guess. Yes, wow, he really did. Like, he has no tail all the way basically to his legs.
Don't say it so much.
What?
Just in case he hears you.
In case he hears us?
Sensitive.
So the idea here was that he
probably couldn't swim as well.
He couldn't swim, basically. He could walk around and stuff. But these people, they call him Mr. Stubbs.
Aww.
He lost his tail in a fight with a much bigger alligator when he was being sent to somewhere. Now he lives in Phoenix, Arizona. What is this, guys? Is it like a rescue place? I can't actually. The Phoenix Herpetological Society. Herpetology, I believe, to be the study of reptiles. So they're studying what's it like when a gator got no tail.
And they give him another one.
Yeah, so they gave him a prosthetic tail, which okay. You have to understand that science is something that you do a lot of study on one thing and then it blows out to other things. So you do study on doing a prosthetic tail for an alligator, and then all of a sudden that leads to better 3D prosthetics for people.
For humans,
and
yeah.
Yes, you are seeing my bias. I do think people are more important than animals. Don't hate me. I'm just being honest with you. So feel free to disagree, but that's where I'm at, okay? And there's part of me that looks at this and I'm just like, you got a friend that needs help with something, they can't get no help. But this alligator
got help.
Teams of people studied and figured out how to give this alligator a prosthetic tail. And
but
again,
in that world, you're right, that leads to advancements in the human world for it. So that's why, yes, even though it's important, but they also wanted to help the little alligator.
It's just one of those things that a lot of people look at the space race and it's like, well, it was a waste of money. And it's like, yeah, but when you look at the trickle down, we were able to build those huge rockets and then we were able to attach nuclear weapons to them so we could shoot anyone
now,
on the...
you're being a downer.
Oh,
you
wait,
are
I'm
being
sorry.
a
You're
downer.
Right. All right. We got...
The little alligator got a tail. Could you just focus on that?
We got Velcro, guys.
Okay, he got a tail. The tail reportedly took over a year to develop. They worked to figure out how big of a tail Mr. Stubbs would need. It's mostly his balance in the water. When they first took him out, he would just roll over and he couldn't balance equally, but now he's got the hang of it.
Yep. So you're out there in life, flipping and flopping, looking for some help. I'm sorry, we wanted to help you, but this alligator needed a tail.
Now again, it took him, they said, about 8 years they had to unteach him, because for 8 years he'd been swimming a certain way. He would doggy paddle, and so now he can swim like a normal alligator.
Dude, they've spent...
No, they weren't spending 8 while the center was,
8 years teaching this alligator how to swim again. That's been...
This is a human interest or an alligator interest story.
That has been their thing. That's what they've been doing.
What else are they going to do? That's what their job is. They're at the society for that.
What do you do when an alligator loses its tail?
Oh, okay.
Boots. That's what you do. You get boots. That's how it works.
I'd like any complaints to be directed at that man over there, not me.
No, you guys should call and talk to Nikki.
No,
she'll help you.
I'm
a bad person, but if you talk to Nikki,
I would
she'll
have been
help you.
right there trying to help the little alligator get a tail.
Like, here, you know what? I've got this.
Fine.
I've got this baguette. What if we tape this baguette to you? That will help.
Poor little alligator. It's nice to see that this has helped him, and that has hopefully helped advancements towards the human side of things.
Mm-hmm. Admittedly, like if this was a dog getting help, I'd be like, that's great.
But
I just don't
it's an
like
alligator,
lizards.
you don't like it.
I don't like lizards at all. Sorry, guys.
The Riot with Obadiah.
Them honey buns and Cheetos done caught up with me.
The Riot with Nikki.
Yeah, she's a liar, because I don't know her. So whatever she says is a lie, so...
The Riot, RadioU.
I love this. Tom says, I think you just lost your PETA demographic. Hey, look, I like animals.
You do. You have a severe allergy, though, to a lot of them.
Yes,
so
I do.
You tease more than I think a lot of people do about animals.
I liked...
He likes to tease,
Here's
and he
the
can't
deal.
just be near them in general.
I like to figure out what you're sensitive about, and then I like to take it too far.
That's his
formula. I feel sorry for Nikki. Yesterday, we were out to lunch. It was Eric's birthday, and so we went out to lunch yesterday. And when Nikki left, I actually said to her, she got up and walked out, and I just yelled. I was like, hey, you can take my gun if you want to. And... You know, that's not, in retrospect, that's one of those things where I was just trying to make Nikki uncomfortable. And then I was like, you know, that's not a joke you can make in public anymore.
Not anymore.
I shouldn't have done that. I fully acknowledge not the right thing. But even further, Nikki left and I just sat there for a while. And one of the biggest problems that I have in Nikki and I's professional relationship, and just when we go upstairs when the show is over, is I can't turn the show off. I try, I legitimately...
It just always happens.
Try to, sit there and be good and stuff. But, after a couple of minutes of somebody being like, and now we're going to focus on the business, pretty soon I'm like, hey, Nikki, guess what?
Actually, the more you try, it's hard because you will for a couple of minutes. And then it's like you have to be worse right after because you got to get back into it. You just can't last very long.
I can't handle it.
This is your thing. We all know that.
Here's the thing, guys. This is if you were to sit down and evaluate me as an employee, this is my time right here. And then when I go upstairs, they're on a 5 scale, probably a 2.
If you could just turn it off.
Can we give them a 1.5?
No, we're used to it. It's
I know,
fine.
that's the thing.
And
You're
we're used to it. We've been
it's...
broken down enough over the years. We're used to it.
And I just said to everybody at the table, I was like, I kind of feel sorry for Nikki. I never shut off the show. She can't even come out and have a nice lunch. I'm yelling at her across the restaurant. She can't just...
It's okay.
Why am I yelling at her across the restaurant? Because I know she doesn't like it.
That's why.
That's
the whole reason why.
That's why I'm doing it. Not, oh, I'm sorry. I hope that didn't bother you. Hey, I did that because it bothers you. And I don't even think about it. I just instinctively move in and do the thing that bothers you.
It's fine.
And that's our whole friendship.
Why have I lasted so long?
I don't know. We really did have employee reviews a couple weeks ago. And in my review, I actually said, I was like, I just want to say that I really appreciate Nikki because I know that I'm hard to work with, and she does a really great job.
But in my review, I wasn't like, Obi, I can't stand him anymore.
No, well, it would have been okay if it
you
was.
were afraid,
I just look at it and be like, you know what? Like, that's fair.
It's all right.
That's fair.
I'll take that one. I'll work on that.
That's fair. That sounds like me. That's fair.
Starting your day with the worst of the riot is a great idea because it's guaranteed to get better from here. It's The Riot on Radio U.
It is The Riot on Radio U.
So exciting. Our first time ever talking with these guys.
Very first time that we have ever talked to AC.jR and BradyJames.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? Good morning.
Yeah, good. So, ready to fit day.
Good. Well, good.
So is real talk, like, is it a little too early for you guys? I don't know where you guys are located. Where do you live?
So we live in Long Island, New York.
Okay. So like you're doing okay.
You're doing good.
Okay. So what?
I don't wake up until noonish, so I'll be more capable at like noon. I can talk better and stuff like that.
Okay, right on. So, you know what? Like, we have never met you guys before. And so basically, most of what I know about you, I just cobbled together from your Facebook page and your website and whatever. Take us back.
I'll be sending you a full report on how your social media presents you guys.
Right.
He'll send that later.
So talk to us about you guys. How did AC.jR and BradyJames find each other?
Well, so I started going to a nighttime church service that had a bunch of a younger crowd, a younger audience. And Anthony is one of the first people to talk to me there. And this is going back like 3 years ago. Anthony kind of made music. I kind of made music. So he actually hit me up. Really, this music relationship started because of an Instagram DM. So he slid in my DMs. That's exactly how we started making music. He was working on a project. He wanted me to hop on it on a feature. It kind of came together really nice. We did a small show at that church, and everybody was like, man, you guys should work more closely together, make a whole album together. And I was kind of like, I don't know. And then he started sending me.
Wait. Okay,
where'd the I don't know come from?
Yeah, I want to know. You're saying, I don't know if I want to work with this guy, whatever. What was it that said to you that this AC.jR guy is not somebody I want to work with?
Well, it honestly had nothing to do with him necessarily. It was, I was focused on this solo type thing. I was making music since I was 13, 14, and I just actually got I was in a group, and then that group kind of fell through. I was with another partner that severely fell through, and this is like less than a year later. So I was like, man, I tried the whole group and collaboration partner thing before, but then everything changed when he started sending me some beats, and then I was like, wow.
Then you thought we could definitely do some music together.
You know what? I think I can change my mind.
Actually, Nikki, I think it's important. We need to hear from AC.jR because this has all been BradyJames talk. So, dude, Anthony,
what were your feelings on that?
I mean, so I was just like, if I'm ever going to make it in music, I think it's with this kid. And so we just had such great chemistry when we did that show on stage, and people were just saying, you guys should do music together. You guys should do music together. And I was just like, all right, let's give it a shot. And so I went up to him literally a week after, and I was like, hey, do you want to do this? And he was kind of like, yeah, we'll see. And then I just, convinced him with my music, I guess. And yeah. Coming from him and his side of the story, I understand why he was the way he was, but I guess music speaks louder. So
okay, yeah. So now that you guys have worked out,
you're
making music together. Mm-hmm. How's the interpersonal relationship? With that kind of a rocky start, does anybody bring it back? Like, hey, I said I love you first, okay?
That sort of thing.
Well, we hate each other most of the day, so it kind of just works out pretty nicely like that.
A little hate's not bad. It's fine. It gives you some drive for the music, maybe.
Yeah, and honestly, Nikki and I don't get along at all.
It's fine. So it's no Every good partnership has that.
I feel the tension in the room right now.
It's real. So that's how you guys got together.
This is AC.jR and BradyJames, which you'll hear the new song If I Lose Myself in a few.
You guys have been making music together for a while now. What are you guys up to, like, right now, the next couple of weeks, next couple of months? What's on the horizon?
Okay, so I just graduated college, like, a little more than a week.
Right there it is. So, well, let's hear. What's your degree in?
Well, that's interesting. I went to a Bible school where I actually didn't get it's more like a certificate of completion and college credits towards another school.
Gotcha.
Interestingly enough, that's what Nikki got in high school. It wasn't exactly a diploma. It was more of a certificate of completion.
Oh, stop. All the good creative people get that, okay?
Yeah, he clowns me for everybody on our team clowns me for it. Like, oh yeah, you get your certificate the other day. Like, it's so funny. So yeah, I graduated about a little more than a week ago. And now I'm focused on full-time music 3 weeks out of the month. So I'll be living with Anthony. So we actually live together now for the first time ever. So when we first started putting out music and we started to get people to believe in what we were doing, I always had college in my way. And with my program, it being not like a legit college where you can make your own schedule and stuff, it's more of like a regimented course. It was like so crazy the amount of music I've been able to release under the constraint of being at that school. So now that I'm not at that school, I'm super excited to just pursue full-time music, 3 weeks out of every month, just living with him, grinding. The other week I'll be back home with my family, working, working like a real job. So,
whoa, wait.
We understand that.
What does your family say is a real job, like according to them?
Well, stuff that pays the bills a little bit better than I do. Right? So I'm excited because I've never been able to focus on music with nothing in the way. Anthony's still here. He's working. He interns at his church, so he's less full time than I am. But I think I'm excited to see like what we can create when we don't have like any time constraints. And we've always made music. Pretty much every song that you guys have ever heard from us has been created through a screen, which if you know anything about creating that, like, it's just, there's a lack of chemistry that happens when you're going through a screen. So when we're in the room together, obviously it becomes way better. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for it.
Well, we're excited about it, too. Really been enjoying your music.
AC.jR and BradyJames. So if I lose myself, you can hear, of course, on RadioU. But then Make Friends, Not Money is another amazing song.
Yeah, it is
and
really
that's
good.
On Fusion on Saturdays, too. So don't forget to check out that song if you're not familiar with the newer one.
Yeah, so thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys.
Thanks for having us, man. It's such an honor being on RadioU. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. So AC.jR and BradyJames, as Nikki said, really worth checking out, especially if you haven't heard some of their other stuff. Like, there is a lot of good music there.
Music, absolutely.
And I will say it fits really well in a playlist. So if
so
you're looking for something to add,
to
that is some good stuff right there.
We searched for something positive to say about the riot and finally came up with one word: consistent. Consistently terrible, but still consistent. RadioU.
So, guys, we need to bring it back down a little bit, okay?
For what?
Well, there's a lot of Labor Day sales going on right now.
For what? What are you going to buy?
Does it matter what it is?
Well, yeah. Are
Does
you
it
looking
matter
for
what
something?
it is?
Or is it is Labor Day? No, that's President's Day. The mattress stuff.
I'm good on mattresses. I got mattresses.
What do we normally get pushed at for Labor Day?
Stuff that you like, stuff. Just push stuff on you. They're like, hey, you didn't come to the website today. Here's an email. Just let you know there are things
With
on sale.
A code for just as much off to maybe get you enticed into buying something.
Why don't you grab, how about this one? Like, here, this is a really, there are a couple of, okay, guys, I like bad movies. I love dated bad
old
movies.
Ones?
Oh, yeah. And the thing is that sometimes they can be so good on their own. So, like, man, like action movies from the 70s, so bad. Like, some of them are so bad.
They're so bad they're not even streaming anywhere for free.
No, they're not. Like, you have to buy them if you want to watch them. And someone that I feel like fits really well into that category, and this would be like 90s bad, is Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, like, these Steven Seagal's movies are only good if you go back to when he was really trying. Because like he hits a point where he's just like cranking them out, whatever. He's just cashing a check. But his first couple of movies, he is trying.
Yeah.
And that makes them so
But they're still bad.
Oh, they're so
still
bad.
but he's trying.
They're so bad. Like, they're so bad. But you could, like, the studio system is behind them. Like, they have this polish and this thing where, like, they're really trying. And it's like, oh, this is such a bad movie. And there's a couple of those on sale. I'm just like, wouldn't it be more fun to just watch something that you can laugh at that you know is bad than watching Infinity War again, which is really, really good?
Why don't you look on YouTube? Maybe they're just free.
You know what? Maybe I should poke around a little bit before
you spend money on anything that's so bad it's good.
I know. But the thing is, like, how do they know that I want to watch a good, bad movie?
Well, your search
or a
history.
Bad, good movie? You think that's it?
What were you watching on YouTube earlier this morning?
A trailer for this movie.
So,
well, it was because it was on sale.
Gotcha. Okay,
that's what got me to go back and I watched the trailer. I was like, oh, it's so bad.
Now it's for sale.
I'm good though. Don't worry about me, guys. I haven't done anything yet.
We thought about selling the worst of the riot, but let's be honest, no one is buying this stuff. Get it for free on the RadioU app.
Superheroes.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you an option. You can be, you know who Wolverine is, right?
I do, yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Whatever. You can be Wolverine.
With the claw things.
Claws. Adamantium claws.
Yeah.
And retractable bionic housings in his forearms. Or you can be Superman. I realize
Wolverine.
That you pick. Why would you pick him?
I think I've seen a couple of the Wolverine movies, so I'm not going by comic books or like storylines or anything like that. I've liked the tone of that character, and it's his thing better than Superman.
So then you would, but remember, you're going to be them.
I don't want to ever wear the Superman outfit too. I think it sometimes looks a little bit ridiculous.
Man, when you're Henry Cavill, like, you can pull it off.
That's true. He can.
I mean, like, you're Superman. You didn't see it, but Nikki's doing the Henry Cavill punch
from the Mission Impossible
trailer.
Dunk. I forgot what they call it, but it's got a name.
Her beard grew a little too when she did it, just like his does in the trailer.
I don't have a beard.
It's just something you say. It's not real.
But yeah, you're right. Henry Cavill, I think, was good, but I don't have any affection towards the Superman character.
Well, I've thought about it a lot. See, with Wolverine, he's got a healing factor and unbreakable bones, but Superman's
I could fly, and
he's
air
invulnerable.
travel is expensive.
It is.
Gosh, it's so expensive.
And with all that metal in his body, Wolverine's getting stopped at every metal detector.
True.
Like, it's very inconvenient.
He seems more human to me.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, that's the thing about Superman. Superhuman, he can't get hurt, whatever. Here's the thing. I feel like most of us, we walk around pretending that we're Superman, but in reality, we're a little more Wolverine. Think about it. We like to act like, man, nothing hurts me. Ain't nothing. It bounces off. You shoot a bullet, I'm like, I didn't even feel it. But let's be honest, it's words. A lot of times it's words that hurt. It's circumstances that hurt. And we go around acting like they don't hurt at all. But man, like, you are full of it. Real talk. Like, it's not bouncing off of you. It's cutting straight into the core of who you are. And so you're just walking around carrying this pain.
It's one of those bullets where they're like, it's in you and it's not.
They can't get it out.
You can't get it out.
Here's the amazing thing, though. I want you to know something, that God wants to come into your life, and he's not going to make you Superman. I would love to tell you Superman, Superwoman, Supergirl, whatever. I would love to tell you that's what's going to happen. God's going to come in, and you'll be like, go ahead, bro. Come at me, bro. But it's not like that. It's a little more like Wolverine. It is true that you're probably still going to end up getting hurt. People are going to say hurtful things. I mean, I've experienced it. I have a relationship with God, and people have still said hurtful things.
Life is still life.
Life is still life. But here's the amazing thing, is that just like Wolverine, what makes him so special is that guy can heal from anything. He can literally heal from anything. And I want you to know that that's what God has for you. He can heal you from anything. What are you going through right now? What is it? What are you just like, you can't get over it? Somebody did something to you. You did something to somebody else. You've got regret. You can't, I don't know. What is it that you can't get past? I want you to know that God can help you heal. You're not going to be Superman, but you're going to have a Wolverine kind of thing going. You're going to heal from it. And I don't know what it is, but ask him. You're like, well, eventually we're all going to die. You know what, bro? Do you know that God's got death covered for you too? You're going to die, but you're coming back. I mean, we can talk about that another time, but let's just focus on today. Today, God can help you heal from whatever's going on. Just ask him. Say, Jesus, I want that. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I am hurting. God, I need to be healed. And God is all about that. He wants to help you heal from stuff.
Wish the worst of the riot would never end?
Everything that has a beginning has an end.
What is wrong with you? Get our daily podcast through iTunes, Google Play, or the RadioU app.
Eric and
No,
Nikki,
you're fine. Just don't think about food.
they did Eric's birthday dinner last night, and it sounds like you went to Texas Day, Brazil.
Yeah, it's so good.
All they do is just throw meat at you for hours.
And you're like a bit overwhelmed because they just walk around and they've got meat on these swords and skewers and stuff, and it's delicious, and you just want to try a little bit of everything.
You eat like the kings of old.
Yeah, and like your body's not used to that. Your body's like, what are we doing? Why do we have all these things on our plate? And it was so good.
Eric was describing a sausage and a flank steak that sounded good, but I'll have to say where you really got me was when you said bacon-wrapped chicken.
They do the bacon-wrapped chicken. You would have liked the Parmesan.
I've also liked that.
Have you ever seen like a piece of meat and they pack like the salt on it and stuff? Like to preserve it or whatever.
Sure,
like
whatever.
a salt thing.
If you want to know the truth, I don't think I have, but okay.
Well, people do it like with fish, and they pack like salt, like it's a very thick layer of it.
Okay.
This reminded me of it, but it was a thick layer of Parmesan cheese.
I love Parmesan
cheese. And it was so
cheese.
warm, and it came out. I was like, yes, this is so good. But we can't eat like that every day. That was just a birthday.
Well, I didn't eat like that yesterday.
Well, maybe for your birthday.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, thanks a lot for inviting me. I mean, you guys have a family dinner, and where am I? I'm at home.
Why aren't you there?
I'll tell you
I
what I
didn't
had.
invite you. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what I had last night that was excellent.
Yeah.
I had and I can't remember the brand, but it was a sub sandwich like bun.
Yeah.
That I was going to toast by putting it in the oven, and I was like, boy, that's a lot of work. And then I went over and I got some turkey.
Lunch meat?
They say that lunch meat is really good for you. It's also packed with a lot of salt really tightly.
Yes.
And then I went ahead and I placed that on the white bread where they've taken everything out of the bread, and it's just a white, starchy bread.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
It's even sticky, almost, you know. And then I took some sharp cheddar, not just regular cheddar.
No.
Okay. And I sliced a couple of pieces and I placed it on there. And then I walked around the kitchen a couple of times with a knife.
With your own
It
swords.
was kind of like a skewer.
Yeah.
And then I took that knife and I cut the sandwich down the middle.
Did you? Well, see, I don't want to interrupt
standing
that.
there alone, I made a cut the cheese joke to myself, laughed a little bit, ate my sandwich. I don't know. Did I?
Yes, I think you did.
Did I?
Probably. And you ate your sandwich? I don't want to interrupt that. That's your me time.
I ate my sandwich alone. And then here's the thing I want you to know, though. And this is where I can feel the jealousy beginning to build.
Yeah.
Is that I had a fresh-picked gala apple.
Did you? Oh, well, that's actually a good ending.
I washed it off in the sink myself and then wiped it down. And
well, yours sounds nice, too.
it was
why
delicious.
isn't it?
But
Why
we can't eat like that every day.
Why shouldn't we have come over to your place for birthday dinner?
Well, you know what? I asked Eric. It was going to be a surprise.
We had the plans already.
Well,
we had the
he said-
reservations.
when we were talking, he said, you know what? I'm not getting really any gifts for my birthday this year, and coming to your house feels too much like a gift. I just can't. I just can't.
We'll remember for next time. That was
Yeah.
our bad.
And, yeah, that'll be great. That's fine. No, we need to go sometime. Do they have like a
We need to go during lunchtime. No, if you go,
something?
it's so expensive. But if you go at lunch, I think it's a lot of money off.
Okay.
So I want to go at lunch and then take the afternoon off. So that way you can be prepared to like eat and have time and not be rushed.
Did you get the meat sweats?
No, because it's
meat
that
sweats?
good. You only get meat sweats when it's not.
What, is that what cheap meat gives you?
I think so. I think that's why sometimes you've gotten that.
The meat was so good. I was cold afterwards.
Because we kind of get that sometimes at like the wing buffet, but I think that's just when we get sick. though.
That's your body raising the temperature to fight infection.
Yes, that's not the experience because you've had too much.
It's like rejecting a transplant. Your temperature's going up. Your body's making antibodies. It's like, what is this food?
Like, what are we eating and why are we eating so much of it? But,
stop now.
Yeah, maybe we'll go at a lunchtime when it's less money.
Well, happy birthday again, Eric. And I think it sounds like you guys had a great time.
We did.
I want something wrapped in bacon.
The Riot spent their entire advertising and promotion budget on catering and craft services.
The junk that guy eats has finally caught up with me.
So please tell your friends. It's The Riot on Radio U.
So let's talk about meat. I believe all that meat talk was not enough, Nikki. Let's talk about meat some more.
Yeah.
And what's going on in... Wait, let me double check. Is it Missouri? Yes. I almost thought it was Montana for a minute, but it's not. It's in Missouri. In Missouri, they just passed a law, and that happened earlier this week.
It's the meat alternative one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's the first state in the United States to have a law like this, in that the word meat cannot be used to sell anything that is not derived from harvested production livestock or poultry. Mm-hmm. Here's what that means. If you're like, hey, this meat is good and it's lab-grown meat, nope, can't do that. Or how about this? If you were like, tofurkey, the meat-flavored whatever, they're saying you can't even do that.
Like for advertising, packaging, all that stuff.
You can't say tofurkey is meat-flavored because you're not allowed to use the word meat
unless it's
to describe something at all that is not derived from
meat,
directly from beef, cattle, livestock.
I feel like Big Beef is behind that.
They are actually. Like, there's no.
They're protecting the brand of it.
There's no bones about it. That is actually from.
Well, you're right. There's not bones if it's a meat alternative.
This is sponsored by the Missouri Cattlemen's Association, and they're basically saying, "Hey," and their argument. I love their argument. There's a lot of consumer confusion. Mm-hmm. You know, people are out there buying things they think are meat. They're not getting meat, and they just don't know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
They're so confused. There ought to be a law.
Heaven forbid they actually might buy a meat alternative, and they're just confused by it. But that's how it is in the poultry world. Everything was always chicken, but it was chicken. It was slightly spelled differently. So it was an alternative, but yet basically they're just trying to make it seem like you were having chicken.
Mm-hmm. And so, so like, for example, the Impossible Burger.
Yes, that one.
That's the one that's lab grown. And they're saying like, you're not going to be able to refer to that as meat. You will not be able to sell that as meat. And it is. It really goes down to the livelihood of the ranchers that are saying, hey, you can't do that. Now, of course, people are right now filing injunctions to have the law struck down because they're saying, hey.
This is Missouri, though. Like, I don't know how much Missouri will end up. If this was, like, say, California or another state where there might be more people interested in the alternative, but Missouri, I could see this still staying.
Oh, see, this to me, when I look at this feels like stage one. Like, at some point, somebody's like, all right, we got it local. We got to take it national.
I bet they will try to. But in the beef areas, in the cattle areas, this would be passed way easier than an area where cattle is not done.
My guess would be that, like, trying to take this in, like you said, in California, they would just be like,
certain parts.
Come on. Yeah, it really would depend, right?
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because Radio U exists, and Radio U only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
Because you come into this world with screaming and crying, already causing your mother problems.